Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. It's your friend James Shaw. We're doing what we do, which is talk to elite people who are doing elite things so that you too can become elite. I always love learning the plays that other agents are running and then putting it together so you can run it too. And we've got a superstar today, as far as I'm concerned. Brandon, thank you. I'm glad you're finally on. I've been talking to Vicky on my team to get you on for quite some time, and it's worked out today for you to join us. Tell us a little bit about who you are and where you are, and then we're going to dive into specifically how Instagram has been huge in helping you grow your business. So tell us about yourself.
Yeah, Brandon Blankenship. I'm about 40 minutes west of the city of Chicago, aka best city in the world. Solo agent with a director of ops, virtual assistant, and transaction coordinator. Last year, we helped about 60 families buy, sell, and invest into real estate for just under $27 million in real estate volume. My business is broken up between sphere of influence, social media, as well as agent referrals.
You're doing over a house a week in the best summer city in the country. You get a little asterisk there. I think Chicago's easy the best summer city. I love that town. But you built a great business, and it wasn't always a social media focus. So what
Mhm.
took you to that? What had you kind of moving a little bit more towards adding Instagram as a funnel for you?
Yeah, I kind of Ken Pozek's kind of been like a big influence and a good buddy of mine in terms of just showing me like what how he's built the Orlando Reel. So kind of like the same mindset around that with Instagram. I've always liked social media. It's just always kind of like been one of my things that I've always like been doing and kind of like grown up with. So I just really committed to doing Instagram, and I looked at it as that the worst case scenario, I would, go eat for free at restaurants. And like the best case scenario, it would help my real estate business as well. And it definitely did so. And out of those 60 transactions I did last year, 17 of them came from the Instagram page.
That's really good.
Yeah,
Chicago's a big place, right? The third largest
massive.
city in the country. It's
Yep.
geographically very spread out. I
Hmm.
lived in the south side of Chicago for a while, and you go
Nice.
from one neighborhood to another, it gets very different. So
Right.
you've narrowed your focus there. Would that be a piece of advice you'd give to somebody is keep it pretty tight?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I personally did, like you said, the best there, James, like Chicago suburbs is huge. I mean, even just the suburbs from the city of Chicago are totally two different markets. I really only work the suburbs. I would say 99% of my transactions in the past 5 years have just been the suburbs alone. But I really niched it down even harder. Is that like the content that I post on Living Chicago Suburbs as well as my personal Instagram is really only catered to about the 10 to 15 towns that I only want to work. And we're really strategic with that because in a perfect world, I'd rather do, 60 to 70 transactions like in a 15 to 20-minute radius or even better, less from that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Chicago traffic can be crazy,
Yeah.
so it's really smart. And the I guess step one to your system. Well, I
Mhm.
guess step two. Step one is narrow down, so know where it is you want to target. But step two is frequency. What's the
Mhm.
right rhythm to be communicating and posting stuff on your social?
Mhm. I post daily, honestly. A really good real estate friend of mine that you've had on your show, Taylor. She kind of like challenged me like a year and a half ago to kind of just like post reels every single day and just see where it would take me in 60 days. And I did that, and it kind of like blew up like all my Instagram platforms and just created this top funnel system for me. So it kind of just like avalanched from there. But I post daily on the feed. I definitely wasn't as consistent like midway through the year, but now we've put a lot of systems around it where, I won't miss a day. And, we're probably have posted like 6 months straight right now. And we don't have any, ideation of slowing down.
And the key is to make it content people want. You've
Hmm.
kind of found some things that are helpful for you. Let's show what you're doing a little bit. We're just in this is your personal Instagram. We're in that
Yep.
right now. And I want to scroll and show. Why don't we start with this one, Oak Brook's best new restaurant?
Yep.
Now you touched on this earlier. This is a target for you. This is something
Hmm.
that's key for you. Is
Yep.
this restaurant stuff? Tell me about it.
Yeah, so the restaurant things videos are huge. I get a ton of people that reach out to me in regards to like doing collaborations with their restaurants. And the big thing is that, a lot of these small businesses crave attention for the marketplace, and I own that attention because all my content is very hyper local. I personally don't charge people to do these videos, but my business is also really sphere of influence driven. So I'm able to accomplish multiple things. Is that instead of one of these restaurants, compensating me for my time to create one of these videos, I just tell them, I just ask for permission to bring 2 or 3 of my friends slash clients where I can build deeper relationships with them. And I just tell them one caveat is that they have to be an influencer for about an hour and a half. I never push real estate, but the conversation obviously always comes up, and we're just really deepening those relationships. And then number two, instead of the form of payment that I usually like is for like $100 gift cards for me to kind of like gift to my VIP clients for them to have a nice experience on the weekends or during the weekdays.
It seems like a win across the board where
Right.
the restaurant gets some help, you get something to give your clients and stuff. But let's watch it. Let's watch this one and
Yes.
kind of get the gist of it. Here we go.
On to Oakbrook's newest restaurant. You have the Koa here, right in Oakbrook, Illinois, at the Drake Hotel. We obviously started off with some delicious drinks right here, and this lobster empanada was the best appetizer I've had in a long, long time. You have DeMarte here, just getting a huge dip of the queso chips right here, and loving it, of course. And Mason here with the shrimp, and these were some of the best shrimps, perfectly tasted and cooked to perfection. Jesse here trying the lobster empanada for you guys. He's back at it again with another video, but with great food, had great service as well. The skirt steak and the seafood platter right here. The taste was incredible. Topping off with dessert with these churros here. And like I said, if you are in the area and you need a new restaurant for date night, come to Koa. Great service as always.
I love it. And what's so fun about this one, first of all, you didn't talk about real estate in that at all.
Mm-mm.
You are promoting this restaurant, but you do in the caption
Yep.
remind people what you do. Tell me the thinking behind all of that.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that, we just kind of like, I've always just kind of learned and just in terms of like real estate, especially like talking to a ton of people, is that, I just try to provide as much value as I can. So I don't talk about real estate in the video because I'm just trying to draw people to my page, as well as follow me. Because at the end of the day, is that there's whatever the stat is that the average person does a real estate transaction every 8 years or something like that. So reality, that funnel of someone that's actually going to do a real estate transaction at that moment is very, very small. But when you can get that huge funnel coming into you, you get way more opportunities that way. And I just put the call to action at the end because I'm just kind of leading with value, just kind of like jab, 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 and then punch, really. And I just kind of like, I think when you love where you live and people can really see that from you, they just trust you even more.
First of all, I come to Oakbrook every year, as you know, and I'll be
Yeah,
back
yeah.
this fall. So I'm going there because that place looks unbelievable. And so one of the nights I'm going to make Angie from your region take me there because that place looks unbelievable.
Yes.
But my guess is too that it's very shareable, so that
Yes.
the restaurant wants to share it, but then people who care about Oakbrook are
Yep.
going to want to share it. I mean,
Yep.
I don't know if you have data on it right now. I'm putting you on the spot, but my guess is something like that gets
Yeah.
plastered all over the place.
Yeah, 100%. I like those pieces of content, and I think the two biggest metrics on Instagram that we look at, it's not the views, the likes, or the comments. It's actually the amount of shares as well as saves. The saves are for people going back in time, and they're not just seeing the restaurant, but they're seeing my face as well. And then the shares are people sharing it on their stories or sharing it to their friends, family, or someone that they want to take on a date or something like that, and they're seeing my face there again. So for me, really, it's just brand recognition, and for everything that I do that's organic, I mean, we're getting like 200 or 250,000 views on that certain piece of content. And then the huge value proposition to these business owners is that they have a lot of influence, where they work. Obviously, they run a great established
Coming to the
restaurant,
east side of St.
but then they also kind of just like love just like the awareness and everything like that. So a lot of analytics. I collaborate with my personal Instagram page, Brandon__Blankenship, and I know for myself is that when people follow my personal Instagram, is that they're usually probably interested in something real estate related. So I just take the initiative and just put the action forward, and just execute and just starting direct messages, because I think a lot of the sales happen in the direct messages.
Well, okay, tell me what you do. What do you do in the DMs? How are you taking that relationship a little bit further from someone that's commenting, liking, or sharing your
Yeah.
posts?
Yeah. So a big question that I get asked a ton is that like Brandon, like why do you have Living Chicago Suburbs in your personal page? I like having Living Chicago Suburbs because it kind of like helps me out with the long-term goals, but also, having that media asset of Living Chicago Suburbs as the very top funnel. And then the only sponsor for that page ever is Brandon Blankenship Real Estate. And that's very, very powerful, right? And I know that when I post on Living Chicago Suburbs as the top funnel and then collaborate it with my Brandon _ Blankenship Instagram page, I know that people that typically follow my personal Instagram page are probably individuals or families that might be looking for real estate because they obviously got drawn from the content from Living Chicago Suburbs, but then found my personal Instagram page. So then I just take it a step further and not wait for them to reach out to me, but I reach out to them with a simple message and say, "Hey, James, thanks for following the page. If you want to see any content on here or Living Chicago Suburbs, let me know. And if you ever have a real estate question, whether it be next week or next year, I'd absolutely love to help you out. Just let me know."
It's really good. This is Living Chicago Suburbs. You got 75,000 followers of this group. I mean, well,
Yep.
and you're gonna have another one there. I just followed it myself, so you got a new
Awesome.
follower now. But this is huge. This is
Yeah.
in addition to your personal page, but it looks
Yep.
like you do a lot of overlap,
Yep.
a lot of the same content and stuff like
Yep.
that to make it easy. Is that part of the play?
Yep. Anything that has my face or that's real estate related, it gets collaborated. So both audiences see it. My real estate Instagram page as well as the big Live in Chicago Suburbs Instagram page. And if there's any content without my face on it, just typical B-roll content, it just sits on that page. But the Living Chicago Suburbs page is the page that gets posted on every single day and doesn't miss a beat.
Let's look at some stuff in there. You've got this is one that's on both pages.
Yep.
It's on your personal and your
Yep.
Chicago suburbs page. Let's look at this one and talk. This is a real estate message, so let's watch this.
Yep.
7.5 acres of new retail is coming to the east side of St. Charles, right next to Charlestown Mall. And this right here is what you need to know. It goes by the name of Foxhaven Squares, brought to you by the Greco Investment Management LLC. What you can expect here is restaurants, retail, and even pickleball. The Montauk Pickleball Club, which you can see right here, is going to be the first of its kind, coming from the operators of the Hampton Social, 20,000 square feet, and they're going to have a rooftop deck that you can see above right here. Notable restaurants that are coming here is Fire and Wine, which is based out in Glen Ellen, as well as Taco Mucho, which is out in Oak Park. The hope is that this development will be completed at the end of later this year in 2025 and as early as 2026. What do you guys think about this new development coming to St. Charles? Personally, for me, I think it's awesome what's happening in the Tri-Cities. Let me know in the comments down below. 7.5 acres of new retail is coming to the east side.
The info you just get out of the paper. You're sourcing the Daily Herald, so you got it out as a suburban newspaper in Chicago. So you're getting the stuff out of there. I imagine the images you're finding from the city or something like that. You throw them up behind you on the green screen. It does the captions. Boom, you have a video, and it seems like this wasn't a ton of takes.
Yeah, no, it's very, I just kind of like read a script and I just cut out the ums and the pauses in the video. It just makes it really cohesive. And I think like the biggest thing is just kind of like being the local news for people so people don't have to find it themselves. And one up on it is that, the big thing with media right now in today's day and age is that they don't show just the good stuff, they also show the bad stuff. And my goal here is to show people like I love where I live, and I just show the good. I just show why I love living here and all the things that are coming soon that will make where we live that much better.
It's really good. If you look to your tagging, some of the businesses are going to be in there. So again, it's shareable. They might post and share.
Yep.
You've got, this is only up 2 days ago. You already have 1,300 likes and several comments, and I notice you're engaging in some of them as well.
Yep.
So is that a key piece, is to stay, active and engaged in what's going on in the group?
Yeah, absolutely, James. I think one of the big things and just social media in general, whether you scale a page like that or just really use it on your personal level, on your personal real estate page, is that I think a lot of agents miss the boat when they're not social on social media. And what I mean from that is that we're in the business of marketing ourselves. And when the average consumer, they really take their time out of their day, and if they share a comment with you or reply to your story, it means a lot because they're using their time to do that. And I always kind of like show love, especially when people message me or comment on my post, especially on my personal Instagram page, because I know it means a ton. And I'm always, showing love on people's posts, commenting, liking, and things along that nature.
Yeah, it is social, right? That requires you to engage with people.
Yeah.
You've done a lot right. We've given both things, both handles, so people can go look and see what you've done. But I imagine it's not all been a pink fluffy unicorn dancing on a
Yeah.
rainbow. Like there have been some mistakes and lessons along the way. What are some of those that you've learned?
Yeah, I think the big thing is just kind of like anything in this business is that like everything works. I think, you know, when creating like these pages, especially on the Instagram for me, and something that I've learned was that to kind of just really just take the ego out of it. You know, I didn't put my face on a lot of the content for months, basically, because I was just highlighting value and I didn't post any real estate at all. But now my content is probably like 20% real estate as well as 80% just about living, playing, and everything else in between in the area. And the thing is just like, you know, it's all about reps. If you go on that page and you scroll back to like a lot of my original content, the editing now and the production is way, way, way better to where it is now type of thing. And building something like this is honestly a great asset, especially when I go on consultations, especially with sellers. I promote cross-platform a lot of my real estate listing videos here because it's very powerful when I go to listing appointments and I'm able to show them analytics like right there at the kitchen table and say like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I get 2 to 5 million impressions every single month, and here are the people that are looking at the profile: Chicago, Chicago suburbs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm able to drive, you know, give them this unfair advantage that I can exhaust that probably no other agent in my market can do.
That's so good. If someone wanted to start something like this,
Mhm,
they could look at it. It's easy to be
mhm,
overwhelmed when you hear, you know, you've got so many months of work on this,
mhm,
and
mhm.
like you said, you put in the reps over and over and over. I have people
Right.
call me and ask, you know, hey, I want to start something like Pivot, you know, and I want
Mhm,
it to be like what you're doing. I go, well, it's
mhm,
taken 5 years and a
mhm.
phone and a mastermind call every day for
Right.
5 years, like to get where we are. So you got to put in the reps. And I go back and I think about the
Right.
first few months of our calls. I don't even want to go watch them. That's how bad they
Right.
were. But that was the journey that we're on.
Right.
So it's easy for someone to get overwhelmed and go, I can't do
Sure.
it. But what would you tell that person that wants to go ahead and get started?
Yeah, I would say, you know, I would really hammer down a few towns that you love. I mean, there's definitely towns like, you know, James, like in the Chicago suburbs where you can really just focus on that one town and really like just post content in the area because there's so much to do. Um, I would say, you know, just find the things that you love. Like I personally like going out to try new restaurants, going to coffee shops, going to, you know, go to different bars and stuff like that. So I just focus and curated a lot of my content in the beginning around that stuff and making very shareable content. And very shareable content is promoting where the best bars are. Here's the newest restaurants coming in XYZ area. Things along that nature that get shared to get into other audiences.
Brandon, you're a genius. I like you a lot. Thank you for everything that you shared with the group and just for walking us through it. I'm proud of what you've done, and I'm going to that place when I'm in Oak Brook in the fall. I'm just telling you, I'll be there.
It's
Thank you
by
for
it's by there. So it's by where the Mid American stuff is. So it's right
yeah,
there.
I appreciate it. You're awesome. Appreciate you, friend. Be well.
Thanks, James.